Dear Alders, today we have some fantastic art news for you. We will be working on shading, highlights and lowlights, and how to make a shape look three-dimensional, creating depth in your artwork.
Hi Alders, it's Lena here. It's so nice to be able to check in with you. And I just can't wait to create with you. I'm going to use a pencil and markers when I draw the still life of the apples. I am going to help you so that you can identify the shapes within the apples. I'm also going to help you to find where the light source is coming from so that we know where to put our highlights and lowlights. So last time I saw you, you were working on a shading project with me. So here's an apple, and we even have the little stem on this one. So that's what we did in class, and I now did a different composition. I took another apple and I cut out a piece of that apple to create a more challenging composition for you guys to work on. You could use color pencils, Prismacolors if you have them. Color pencils are really easy to shade with. The markers will be a little harder for me, but I'm just going to challenge myself and do that today. Let's get started!
What shapes do you see? Two spheres overlapping one another. I'm going to start sketching this out. I'm going to warm up and I'm going to allow myself to maybe, try a couple of times. In this first drawing I did not make the apples overlap, and I actually changed my mind, and later I decided to change that. I wanted one apple to be in front of the other apple. Now, the apple in the front is the lighter apple, and it has that little slice cut out. So that's going to be harder for me to create shading on that piece to make that look more three-dimensional. Here you can see where the light is hitting the apples from the upper right-hand corner. So the right side of your apples will be lighter and the other left side of the apples will be darker. Now you gradually have to change that. So from a dark red, almost like a brown burgundy, into a more clear, bright red, back into a very, very light red, and even leaving some yellow for highlights. So I finally liked my drawing and I outlined it with some gray. And now I'm starting off using my lighter colors first, because it's always easier to go from light to dark than from dark to light. The apple in the back will be the darker apple, and that will also help the painting. It will create the feeling that that apple is further away, and the apple in the front that's lighter is going to feel like it's closer to you, and it is closer to you. But by making the apple in the back a little darker, it will push the apple back even further. Then we have this beautiful blue scarf in the background that is really fun to play around with. So use lots of different blue colors for that. Dark blues, intermediate blues, super light blues, and almost light grays to create the feeling of the flow going in and out, creating depth in your painting as well. Now don't be too hard on yourself when you do this. It takes practice, and it takes many attempts before you're going to be happy with something, but each time you learn something new, so keep going. Keep doing it, and if you have a different fruit, feel free to use that too.